Sir. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's just interesting to see that we have a bit of a
I noticed that.
Sync.
Did we actually
to think
plan
that
it?
we did not plan this, we didn't talk about it, but I think it absolutely looks amazing. Good morning, Olumide.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning to all our beautiful and lovely viewers out there. Thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of the Breakfast Cafe. I am Sarah Osonsa, and I trust you had a very lovely and beautiful weekend, because I sure did. Olumide, how was your weekend?
It was well rested, eyes on the election and to see how everything unfolded, and well, fingers crossed. Congratulations also to Monday Okpebolo
of the All Progressives
Congress.
You know, when I saw the update yesterday night when he was declared winner, it was a bit confusing, because fast forward to Saturday, towards the end of the day, there were updates as to how the People's Democratic Party candidate, person of Aswa Ighodalo, was leading. And, you know, there were already congratulatory messages flying around, only to see yesterday that there was just a sort of switch. And it was a bit confusing, and this has sparked a lot of reactions from Nigerians. People have started to ask questions that what exactly happened.
Yes, what exactly happened?
I saw someone that, you know, was following through and dropped one of the coalition sheets, and apparently 213 persons in that area were accredited to vote, but afterwards they saw 320 something people that voted. So where did the extra numbers come from? It takes us back to questioning the credibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission, because last year, during the general polls, we had this kind of discrepancies.
Yes.
Fast forward to this year, the same thing. There were also areas where they complained about the beavers, you know, not functioning. These are areas that need to be looked into and addressed. And overall, how would we even rate the Edo gubernatorial polls? Well,
I noticed that they made use of IREF this time around, which is, I think, a step forward, an upgrade from what we had last year, where we heard that IREF could not this, that, but, you know, results were being uploaded to IREF. And I was shocked that, okay, now, this is what we've been clamoring for. Yes, we are not there yet, but let's continue
Should we talk about the presence of the current governor? On Baseki at the premises.
Yes.
And he was actually
escorted
out. So why would you be there in the first place?
Well, he gave his reasons.
There's so much to unravel, but we know we have a full segment dedicated to this Edo gubernatorial polls in the course of the program. We just wanted to, you know, give you a tip of the iceberg. Once again, welcome to the Breakfast Cafe, and as always, you know, we have so much in store for you, from our banters and etiquette to the newspaper review, to views from the net, to interesting conversation, trending stories, weather forecasts, so many things just for you. So you want to stick around as we bring you our banters and etiquette.
Welcome back. This is Banters and Etiquette, and we'll be talking about etiquette this morning. The topic is quite interesting: psychological studies on lying and relationship. Now,
this is a banter.
Banter, rather. I believe, is there anybody who has never told a lie, ever? Do you think there's anyone existing on this planet?
Well, it depends. You know, they say there's white lie.
What is white lie?
People used to say there's white lie. The lie that is just, you know, it's not really a lie. Just take, for example, when we're growing up and maybe your mom doesn't want to see somebody and she tells you, go and tell that person I'm not at home.
So that's a white lie.
But you're following an instruction. Are you not following an instruction? Are you following an instruction or not?
Yes, you are.
So would you classify that as willingly lying?
And they say there are lies of omission, wherever you withhold certain information. So you are not necessarily lying to that person, you are just withholding that particular information because that information might hurt that person.
I don't know about that.
All right, so let's start off. Lies in a relationship can be damaging, of course, and hurtful, you know, eroding trust and intimacy. Now, lying is a deviation from the truth, and lies hurt. Lies are commonly used as tactics to mislead the other person away from shame, of course, guilt, blame, and conflict. Now, while some lies may be told in attempts to protect, others can be used as an avenue for control and manipulation. We'll find out more. Now, why do people lie in relationship? One, fear of rejection or abandonment. For instance, if they say women like to be told lies because when you tell them the truth.
I beg to disagree. No. That's your.
I'm not agreeing with
that's
it.
Your.
I am not
no, don't say
agreeing.
they say women like. That is your bias. That is your.
I'm getting to the explanation or why
no,
they say that.
there's no explanation for that.
Okay.
If you want to lie, just say you want to lie. Don't tag it on women not liking the truth. So I don't like that statement.
Or handling the truth.
Just say you want to lie.
Okay.
Just say you want to be a liar. There's no justification for it.
Well, they say when in a relationship, sometimes when you tell her the truth, like, okay, I don't have money, I don't have, she starts to, but when you just sell
Lie
her
to
some dreams, they call it selling of dreams.
What kind of men are we raising these days?
Well, I believe in being honest with someone. If the person's going to like you, whether or not you have this or that, the person's going to like you generally. And the person's not going to like you, I think it saves you that stress in the long haul. So, like I said.
But you'd rather lie.
I don't believe in lying. Sometimes you might withhold certain information.
Omission, Abi.
Yes. To save that, because, for instance, now when you meet people, or when the first time you're meeting someone, you might not want to tell them everything because you don't know who they are, so you probably would withhold some information. But later, when you start getting closer, you can now, divulge.
Smart Yoruba demon over there.
All right, so why people lie in relationship? 2, avoidance of conflict and discomfort. Yes, maybe you know that if you tell this person this sort of thing, it might bring some sort of, conflict or discomfort. So you'd rather not tell that person. Protection of partner's feelings. Yes, you know that, if you tell this person that, so happen, this person might not take it like this person might, break down, and all that. That's why they say sometimes in relationship, men don't like to break up. They just ghost. Now, for personal insecurity and low self-esteem, yes, because if you tell people how it is, they might, want to look down on you and all that. 5, desire for control or power. Now, this one is very common because you want to, have some sort of control of a person. You want someone to respect you, fear, so you let out some little, what do you call it, white lies.
I don't know about that because if you want to get power control, you should earn it. Not by being dishonest, but by actually being honest. So honesty actually wins you a lot of things.
Isn't that what the politicians do these days?
Well, let's get into some types of lies very quickly. We have omission, which Olumide mentioned earlier, withholding information, commission, telling direct falsehoods, white lies, harmless, well-intentioned deceptions, gaslighting, manipulating reality. See this thing about gaslighting?
Yes.
It's
a trend now.
It's a very big deal, and people that do this thing need to understand that it has a very huge effect on the mental well-being of whomever you are carrying it out on. It goes beyond lying to emotional manipulation, emotional torture. When you gaslight somebody, you make them feel bad for your own actions. You always find a way to put it back on them. People that do this, they're on another level. Now, what are some of the effects of these lies in relationship? It erodes trust, it causes emotional distress, it causes conflict and argument, distance and disconnection, as well as betrayal and hurt. Some signs of lying in relationship: inconsistencies in stories, avoidance of eye contact, defensiveness or evasiveness, changes in behavior or mood, unexplained absences, or secrecy. Anybody wants to help on the other?
Now, the consequences of dishonesty, loss of trust, definitely. Once someone discovers that you lie a lot, the trust has to go, it has to depreciate. Relationship breakdown, of course. Ultimately, when you're in a relationship and your partner finds out you've been lying and all that, it could end that relationship. Emotional trauma, yes, because the person starts to wonder that everything you or she has told that person, whether it is true
a lie
or not. So it then difficulty in reconciliation, yes, because sometimes when people find out that you lie, it's very hard for them to reconcile. Some people just avoid you totally. And lastly, long-term resentment, yes, it can also lead to resentment, because when you find out this person, you will just, there's this internal hatred, just anytime you see that person, you just resent that person. Now, rebuilding trust after lies. Well, honest communication. But is it even possible? Well, honest communication, transparency, accountability, forgiveness and understanding, counseling or therapy, then time and effort. These are some of the ways you can actually rebuild trust after lies. But over to you, sir. Do you think you can actually rebuild that trust?
It's possible with a lot of hard work and ensuring that you don't do the same thing again. Now, if you lie to somebody, your partner, and you've lost the trust of the person, it takes an intentional effort to gain that trust back. You have to be ready to work extra hard, and you have to be as plain as paper. As basic information can no longer be withheld, you know, you have to give a breakdown of everything you're doing, in quote. Don't say there's an omission somewhere. And if you're willing to go through that process, I believe you can end the trust back.
All right, so this is where we'll end our banters this morning. Stay tuned. The newspaper review comes up next.
Welcome back. Now, this is the newspaper review segment on the Breakfast Cafe, and here we take a look at stories making the rounds on the front pages of national dailies like The Punch, The Guardian, The Vanguard, as well as The Daily Trust. And we open the phone lines for you, our beautiful viewer, to call in and contribute to any of the stories trending this morning. The number to call will be displayed on your screen, 0812-182-0154. Do well to call us and share your thoughts. But let's start off with The Punch newspaper this morning. It has the major read with the major caption has to do with the Edo gubernatorial polls, and it says, Edo poll, People's Democratic Party alleges rigging as APC's Okpebholo wins. Two riders to that story. PDP governors insist candidate won. Obaseki vows to seek redress. Ighodalo rejects result. As President Tinubu congratulates Okpebholo as Akpabio, Oshiomhole, Shaibu, APC supporters jubilate. This is a page to read. Were you expecting anything different?
Well, I know sometimes the power of incumbency could be really, really dominating, and at the point I thought that, you know, it could also have give the PDP chances of winning this election. But you know, it's also interesting to find out that another, or the opposition party, or once the party that was there before, were able to reclaim. I see that some sort of reclaiming back the mantra or the title or the whatever of Edo State.
Well, like these headlines have said, Ighodalo has rejected the result. I saw that comment, and then they'll say they're going to take it to court. Obaseki, you know, has vowed to seek redress. I see this process, just like we saw during the presidential polls. It's starting to feel like a normal thing we see during elections. Once a particular political party doesn't win.
Yes.
But for this case, in this case, why it's a bit peculiar is because, like I said at the start of the show, on Saturday, we were getting a different report.
Yes.
And the flip was very sudden and quick, you know. But if you're in Edo State and you're watching us, you can do well to call us, bring us up to speed. You know, I was also getting reports about the voter apathy that was seen in some parts of Edo State. The turnout wasn't so impressive according to reports, but do well to let us know. We can take a breakdown of the numbers gotten here as the APC garnered 291,667 votes, followed closely by the People's Democratic Party that garnered 247,200 274 votes. This is the front page of the Punch. And we have the Labour Party coming third place with 22,763. We have Olumide Akpata representing the Labour Party.
Yes, some other papers, they said he did not win any ward or any polling units.
Yeah.
It was quite sad.
And you know, one of the things that has also been, you know, making the rounds is considering online polls. Some online polls were conducted, and according to those polls, Olumide Akpata won the election. And it goes to say that electioneering process goes beyond the social media space. You know, to see that despite the polls done online, it had 22,763 votes. Says a lot.
Well, I think we can still get there. We just have to, you know, dot our I's and cross our T's. Exactly. But there's something that people have been saying now that we need to be very careful. While other party members are aggrieved and they are about to head to court, we need to be careful so that we don't talk. Is it actually an election or selection? Because
that's what has been trending. People have been saying this is not an election but a selection process.
Because if they decide to go to the court and the court have to decide, so it becomes a selection and not an election.
I don't think the court is going to decide based off their own intuition. It's going to be based off facts and whatever evidence is brought before the court. But like I said, we have a whole segment dedicated to properly discuss this with someone who is an expert in this field, so you want to stick around for that. Let's move on from that story to other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Fresh tariff hike looms as a monthly power subsidy hits 181 billion naira. I can't wrap my head around it. Fresh tariff hike looms. How exactly are we expected to cope with this?
Yes,
20,000 naira unit and you're on band A, you get 88 units. Rather, I saw my mom over the weekend, and I think she's on band C or something, and she purchased 24,000 naira worth of 30,000 naira worth of light, and she was giving 487 units, and I was like, what? What is happening?
That should last like 3 months.
What are you using? And then on this other end, you have to put when you purchase 30,000, you're getting about 130 something units. You know, the disparity is quite a lot, and then you're not talking about the possibility of a fresh tariff hike.
I can't wrap my head around it because I don't even know what else I'm going to put off. Sometimes I have to put off the fridge. Sometimes I have to time myself.
We don't want to see an increase. We're even calling for a reversal or a reduction, and then talking about a possibility of another hike. No, we don't want to hear that. But beside that story, we have PDP crisis. Atiku backs anti-Damagum National Working Committee members. That's a page 8 read. MPC may lower interest rate by Tuesday. Page 39 has it. We have a picture of CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso there on that story. Why Wabara was denied job slots. This is coming from the SCC. Details on page 39. 1 year after, Tinubu yet to appoint ambassadors for 109 embassies. Get the details on page 7. Beneath that story, 80-year-old man arrested with cannabis in Lagos. 80-year-old man. I'm just wondering if he was paid to have this, or if he's using it for personal consumption, or if he's supposed to go and deliver it. An 80-year-old man? Well, you get the details, pages 4 and 5 Punch newspaper. There's a pictorial representation of the Lagos State Football Association as Congress approves 3.6 billion naira for Lagos FA 2024-2025 season. Details on page 43. Labour Party crisis. Abure faction rules out sanction for Obi. Beside that story, Oyo mob beats soldier over alleged killing of NSCDC officer. These people that did this should be apprehended. It's a page 5 read. And the last story here says DSS frees 6 hunger protesters to arraign 3. Regards to the End Bad Governance protest. But that's on page 18, and that's all we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, we'll move on to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. On the Vanguard newspaper, it still has updates on the Edo election. It says Edo how Okpebolo flawed Ighodalo with 44,012 votes. Excuse me. Now, we have a couple of writers to that story here. It says, a new Edo is rising. This is coming from the governor-elect himself, Monday Okpebholo. Now, Okpebholo wins 11 out of 18 local government areas. Now, Ighodalo got 7, Akpata got none. Now, another writer says, PDP cries foul, backs Governor Fintiri, insists Ighodalo won. Now, CSOs expresses concern, say collation disruption affects result credibility. Quite a whole lot happening there.
That's the lie.
Well, and if you look below that, just below that, you see some sort of like a breakdown, yes, of how the parties stand from Edo North to Edo Central, Edo South. You can just grab the Vanguard newspaper to find out more about that. Now, just above the masthead, we have Tinubu orders crackdown on cyber criminals, transactional car thieves. That's on page... Transnational car thieves. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, below that, we have federal government frees 6 out of 1,400 end bad governance protesters. Beside that, marketers optimistic of lifting Dangote petrol directly as scarcity persists. Talk about the Dangote and NNPC fiasco. Beside that, we have...
1 week after it was lifted.
1 week after it was lifted, still with no updates, nothing,
pricing.
the pricing, and we thought that, you know, producing oil in Nigeria would bring succor to Nigerians, but this is where we are. Beside that, Remi Tinubu, of course, that's the First Lady, Remi Tinubu's 64th birthday. CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, urges federal government to fix bleeding economy.
By the way, did you see the president's, would I call it a letter?
Romantic.
To his wife, the First Lady.
Quite a romantic person.
I saw it and I was like, wow, the president has it in him, I must say. But I saw that the First Lady also gave out, so I think
bags of rice.
plus bags of rice. And I just smiled. I think we are very bountiful when it comes to rice in this country.
Yes, it's
because
expensive.
at every given opportunity,
we roll out rice.
Roll out rice is the solution to every problem. So when you have a problem now, just get rice and it would be fixed.
That's how that's what they think is really happening, or what we actually need in this country is bag of rice. That's our biggest problem. Moving on, we have Lekki, Lagos government, Dangote refinery disagree over parks, call-up system for trucks. That's on page 22 of the Vanguard newspaper. Beside that, Afe Babalola to federal government, allow Dangote sell petrol at lower rate. I think that is just what we want. That is just it. It's as simple, it's as clear as that. Allow him to sell petrol at a lower price.
Imagine if we're buying petrol, let's say for 300 naira, let's say or 400 naira. I know that it could even be better, but
yes,
it would be. That's like half of what we're buying now. Now, note that it's only an NPC that still sells at 855 naira.
Yes.
In Lagos, I was in Ogun State over the weekend, and I saw that some places were selling 1,200. I saw 1,250, and they have the fuel. No scarcity, nothing. The cheapest was 990 naira for a liter. The rest were way above that.
It's actually quite sad. But moving on, let's see if we have other stories. Okay, we have on the sports section of the Vanguard, it says, battered Joshua hints at Dubois rematch as Hearn, I beg your pardon, as Hearn confirms rematch clause. Yes, Anthony Joshua lost the match, and his face, the video is all over the net, of his face being I
don't know, but it got to me a little.
Yes, you know, boxing is a quite an intensive match. You talk about how your face is being considered a boxing glove and all that. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. All right, and don't forget to be a part of the conversation. 0812-182-015 is the number to call. Share your thoughts on any of these headlines. Let's quickly take the Guardian newspaper this morning. Major caption here, Edo elections. PDP films demands review as APC's Okpebholo wins. We can see the infographics of the breakdown, how APC has 52%, PDP has 44%, and Labour Party has 4%. You know, it always feels like there are just 3 political parties in there. The other political parties have not even been mentioned. It's even quite interesting that Labour Party has joined, has now become, before it was APC or PDP, but thank God now we have the Labour Party as the
and others.
And others.
So it's like we have the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and others. But that's this other parties also put in efforts.
Yes, they
you
did.
know, they also try their best to be out there, but it's like as though when they are giving the breakdown, they just classify these three, and every other one is kept somewhere. And
maybe
that's not how it's actually
maybe they didn't get significant votes, and
but
so
that's regardless. That's
regardless, yes, it is.
But that's a page 6 read Guardian newspaper. PDP kicks as APC clears local government seats in Imo and Kwara. I saw this yesterday that in Kwara State the APC cleared all the local government seats, and it was coming at a time where we're also getting reports about the Edo Goba poll. So it was a lot to take in yesterday.
Well,
clearing all the seats.
Clearing all the seats.
All the seats. All the local government seats.
How is
were
that
cleared
even
by
possible?
the APC.
How is that possible? I mean, in a country where we know what is really happening. But, well, fingers crossed.
Get details of that story on page 3. Beside that story, refiners want forex rate at 1,000 naira to $1 to reduce fuel price as Afe Babalola warns against monopoly. Details is on page 5. Billions of ecological fund awards to Borno. Serap tells Tinubu. You get all the details on news page 4. Ohaneze urges Tinubu to replace underperforming ministers. Details page 7. In the health news, cholera claims 21 lives in Adamawa and Katsina. This should be paid attention to. Page 30 has the details. Borno faces health crisis with over 230 health facilities destroyed. Page 30 as well has it. And lastly on page 4, most politicians, not politics, are dirty, says former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Most politicians, not politics, are dirty.
So in other words, politicians are dirty, not politics.
So it's not that as if politics is a dirty game. It's more like the politicians that are involved in this
are the ones doing the dirty work.
But that's it on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, quickly to the last newspaper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper. All across the newspaper, it still has the same headline: APC's Okpebholo wins Edo governorship election. Just 3 riders to that story. It says PDP rejects result. Obaseki calls for calm. Vote buying, disruption of collation, Ma polls. And the last rider says Tinubu, Buhari, Barrow hail own party's victory. Just above that, we have Serap urges Tinubu to probe ecological funds spent by Borno government, which is quite also very germane. Besides that, Israel orders 45-day closure of Al Jazeera West Bank office. Now, besides that, flawed. Zulum raises committee to disperse donated funds. Well, we're glad to hear that. We have another one here. Aminatu Danjum. Okay, this is... Moving on, we have petrol is 52 naira per litre in Libya. Petrol is 52 naira per litre in Libya. Well, that's Libya, not Nigeria. So, and I don't see how it is possible or even plausible to have that kind of, to sell petrol in Nigeria at 52 naira. That would be amazing. That feels like almost heaven. Moving on, we have cholera kills 12 in Adamawa. Just beside that, military denies detention of naval rating for 6 years. That's on page 8 of the Daily Trust. And lastly, Casino celebrates 37th anniversary today. I think that's all we have right now coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring in our guests. Please stay tuned.
as a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Every 419 wey those states wan carry APC wan do, they no go see am. We no dey fit drink buy garri. We no dey school fees na problem. We wan see money dey pay am. APC dey use 20,000, 10,000 take dey buy vote for unit, for polling unit. When they take dey buy people heart, they no see the vote. They use that they carry different people. They no price 10,000, 20,000, 15,000.
Yes, the video you just watched is, I think, one of the voters complaining that, and you could hear someone beside us say, "Come on, Gary, you can't get," and they were complaining about vote buying, which is what has been occurring in elections here and there and all that. But let's quickly welcome our guest, Adeni Ifeta. He is a media analyst. Good morning, happy new week, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, it's my pleasure to be here. I had been tempted not to show up, but I said, since we had an election in Edo State yesterday, I must show up this morning. I was extremely tired. We had an event yesterday. Yes, it's my pleasure to be here. Let's do this.
So sorry. Thank you for joining us regardless of how you feel. We're really honored. Thank you.
All right, so let's start off, of course, with the Edo election. What are your thoughts? What are your projections? What are your concerns? And what did you notice? Let's have you share your thoughts.
Yeah, first and foremost, I thank God that most of the polling unit or center, it went on smoothly. This time around, it's not that people are being chased out with guns, shooting sporadically, and people running head casket and all of that. So we thank God for that at least. And secondly, I also appreciate the fact that we had all the results, although some are being contested now. Then at least, let's say, almost after the election, 24 hours after the election, the results were announced. So in terms of logistic, let's give kudos to INEC on that aspect. And another thing that I witnessed or that I saw or had been reported was the issue of course, vote buying. Offering bread at the point of people exercising their, franchise, and I'll take bread, have bread, 1,000 bread, those big bread and all of that, and as low as 5,000, 10,000, and it's just a pity that some of the security, they are just, will I say they are harmless, or they are just a dog that does not have tooth. You understand what I mean? So that issue of vote buying is still an issue to be tackled when it comes to our electoral processes, even in Nigeria. And it's a lesson for INEC, it's a lesson for security personnel, agency, and also for our politicians until they begin to make an arrest, prosecute, and let the people, if it is meant to go to jail, so let it serve as a deterrent to others. They know that if you do this thing, you are not going to go scot-free for that. But I also thank God that another thing that happened yesterday, the only thing that is constant is change. And you can't, cleave onto power and think you'll be there. Without mentioning names, someone will say, if I become a godfather, I should be dealt with. But let's leave that. Since INEC have announced now, you can't want to install somebody. Yes, you benefited from that processes, but since you have said you don't want to become a godfather and all of that, so, and fighting a traditional institution, I can say in the last 2 years, Edo State generally, they are more divided than united. So I think they have spoken through their vote, and the winner emerged according to the INEC. So it's a good one. At least power has shifted to other side. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. Thank you for your thoughts on that. We won't stay too long on that because that's going to be the focus of our conversation, in the course of the show. But I'd like to move your attention to the headline on the Daily Trust newspaper talking about the minimum wage. Labour and federal government signed memorandum of understanding on salaries adjustment. Just over the weekend, I saw the update as to how Labour was talking about how increasing this minimum wage to 70,000 naira now doesn't have any effect based on the current economic reality. And this morning we're getting a report that the Committee on Salary Adjustment, which was just constituted, arising from the new Minimum Wage Act 2024, has concluded its assignment by signing a memorandum of understanding with the federal government. Now, we know that the Labour and the federal government sort of, I wouldn't call it more like a cat and mouse race, where we get to see the Labour saying, oh, we've met on this issue. And after a while, they come back again and tackle the federal government for not meeting their side of the agreement. Now, let me get your perspective on this. Considering the fact that just last week there was an update that private employers who pay below the 70,000 naira minimum wage risk jail term. Now, seeing that they've signed an MOU on salaries adjustment, how exactly would these play out? What should we expect from this, and how feasible is this cutting across both government level, government sector, and the private sector?
I would say that it's not visible. I think our government, they should, when it comes to salary adjustment or structure, it should be to what is the reality. They should be sincere with the reality. Every now and then, since they started this negotiation almost a year ago, there was a price where we normally buy fuel, but now it's way different, almost times 2. So I'm sure it's not going to cut across. And they said for private sectors that is paying less than a minimum wage, risk the jail time. Yes, risk jail time. Government are not being sincere, because there are private sector, there are other private sector. I think this thing should be categorized. If they can categorize the amount of electricity that
Adeni
like we
Ifetayo,
have
let me hold your thoughts.
whatever.
Let me hold
I'm
your
still
thought
saying-
for a bit. Let me hold your thought for a bit. Let's take Stephen from Benin very quickly. Thank you for calling, Stephen.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Please share your thoughts in 30 seconds.
I want to speak as per the election I was just held in Benin.
Please proceed. We can hear you.
The election was a success because the voters came out to exercise their franchise.
We're there.
Why
We can
have
hear you.
some-
Yeah.
Why we have enough security operatives on ground.
Okay.
But I think where we have a very big problem is the INEC itself. Because before the election, people made it the point of call to make sure that they have a network of callers all around different polling centers and units across Edo State.
Okay.
So while the election was going on, while the corruption was also taking place, we asked the INEC officials to also upload all the results to their server. Because agents was also on ground checking these people if they are doing their job perfectly.
Okay.
So when every center collects their result and the accounting, you found the APC, PDP and the Labour results very, 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 very substantial. They will start counting. So all the general coalition we had from people all around Edo and different units, they will tell you the results and will paste it on the net. And what we now get to hear last night's show this morning was a very touchy thing. It was like reverse was the case. In my center where I voted in Ikubayi was 1 unit 17. PDP had all the results over there. But when they were calling the result yesterday, from as in the last one is Ikubaoka. That is where Ikubayi is. I was very shocked when I heard that APC also still won that same center. So the problem we have right now is not the people working on ground, it's not the security operatives, but it's the INEC official.
Wow.
I don't know whether they don't want this country to move forward because everything was done properly the way it should do.
All right. Thank you.
So it is very, very disheartening and very painful because me as a person, this is the last time I will go and vote in this country.
No.
Now that's one of the issues we are trying to address, Stephen. I don't know if Stephen is still on the line.
Because our vote does not count anymore.
So
you waste your time, waste your effort. Even when they were doing vote buying, most sincere Nigerians do not want to collect money. I don't collect money. Just come and collect.
So they came to you. They came to you to offer you money.
Yes, it was happening in those days. Don't start calling names.
You don't have
No,
to call names. You don't have to call names.
You don't have to call names.
Good. They were doing vote buying. But we said no, let's stand for sincerity. Let's stand for peace. Let's stand for justice. So this country, we have a very big problem in the INEC sector. And if Nigeria must go forward, then we'll start doing transparency from that particular place. Police were just looking at everybody. Nobody stole that ballot box. Nobody did anything. But INEC, in the end of everything, is our biggest problem.
Wow.
Thank you very much and good
Thank you, Stephen, for that first-hand information. You know, I'm sure Adeni Ifetayo heard everything that Stephen was saying and explaining, and two major things jumped out at me. He said at the ward where he voted and everything, they counted it and the People's Democratic Party was leading. But by the time it was announced, the APC had the highest vote from what was announced. Also, he mentioned that that was the last time he was going to go out to vote. That's a very disturbing statement, you know, and concerning statement. And this is starting to be the reality of some of our youths, because it's as though we take the process of going to get our voters card, risk everything to go out to vote, and at the end of the day, our votes do not count. I know we had hopped the beat from that conversation, but having Stephen's first-hand information will take us back to that. Adeniyi Fetayo, you heard everything Stephen from Benin, a live witness, you know, had to say this morning. Please react to it.
Yes, it is very disturbing, but the only thing I appreciate the fact that as long as he said when the result was read out at that polling unit, I'm sure whoever the party voted for the agent was present, and the other party agents, they were also present, and I'm sure that result was signed. And I'm sure in this age and time, I'm sure they will have taken a picture of that result. So the hope of the masses is for them to contest and challenge those results at the what's called in judiciary, maybe at the appeal or what election tribunal rather. So they can challenge that. And I want to appeal to Stephen. No, don't give up. You have the fact. Then when it is time they are collating evidence and all of that, that's when you can step forward, you know, and come out as a witness that this is what actually happened and prove it. I'm sure they will have snapped it or shared the result. And at the end of the day, we've seen where an election was conducted and the result was overturned by court based on evidence. So, Stephen, don't lose hope. That is what you can still do. That is your franchise, and nobody can deny you of that.
Okay, just before Olumide comes in, you stated that Stephen can actually, you know, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you talking about him being a witness or a giving a sort of testimony?
Yeah, yes. Since he said he wants a country that is integrity, ruled by integrity, justice, and peace, and all of that. And I'm sure he's fighting for the soul of Edo State. Those are one of the things that you can do. You continue to share it. This was the result. Paste it. And I'm sure they will reach out to him. And I'm sure some of these people, they are listening now.
So
they can reach out to him. Let's have what you have. Then those are the things they can table at the electoral tribunal.
So what is the safety of Stephen? Because if you were going to look at it, you also need to consider his safety. What can be done to guarantee that Stephen is going to be safe? But you know the interesting thing, Stephen is back on the line. Thank you for calling again, Stephen.
Okay. Yeah, once again, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think I appreciate your spokesperson that is talking.
Our analyst, Adeniyi Fetayo.
Yes, the analyst. I think he's talking from America. He's not living in Nigeria, he's residing in Nigeria.
He resides there.
It's a norm here because they said the ICC will go to court. Yes, while they are going to court, the man is being reinstated as the governor and all that. So they keep going to court for the next 4 years. So we are already on ground. We're not talking from an angle of being not realistic. But then what is really on ground happening? You are saying I should come to court and deal with them. In which court I'm going to go witness? In Nigeria, if you have a mighty pusher, in Benin, they look at it and say, the guy not get mouth. Who has mouth in Benin? Somebody who has everything, who has money, who has the gun and all that. That's why I tell in Nigeria right now. You stop chasing shadow and face the facts. Election has been done. People are not happy. You are carrying people's mandate to a different person. Okwewolo is from APC. A man who cannot even expect himself. A man who is going to give up insecurity as a governor. And somebody who is there who is very sound. Yes, they are both from the same part of Edo. So they said they left the people have to break. The governorship as the zoning area is from the Isha. And these two are from the same area. But we are saying, yes, the same man who wants, a man who is sound, a man who has seen that it is an accident, a man who has ruled in different capacities. One will come and become our governor. And you are giving us somebody that we know cannot take us to the next level. And you are saying we should come and give. We are telling you what entails on ground. That the election was free and fair. Everybody came to exercise their franchise, and the mandate was stolen from them in a twinkle of an eye. And it's done right there in the INEC. Okay, now, if you are going to court, whose report we believe? When in the setup, the election was conducted, the members, they signed, the agent was on ground, counting was there, we slapped, we offload, we had different calls from different centers from our friends who are around, and they're not even beneath.
Okay.
And this is what we in just 24 hours. transparent, why don't we do for elections via the internet? As we are voting, we are saying it based on the internet. INEC should not be the one collecting again. We've gone past that era. Like Ghana,
All right.
you can vote from anywhere in the world.
All right, Stephen.
And you'll be seeing the elections.
Okay.
But now you have to start doing this paperwork and to now go to INEC. And what the INEC tells you is what you are going to believe.
So we should transcend to electronic voting, electronic transmission of results, information well received.
The same guys will come with different ways. They will steal our mandate from us each and every time.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts, Stephen.
The full what happens in the longer run?
All right, Stephen, we have to wrap it up with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling us and for giving us this information. Adeni Ifetayo, Stephen is a bit burdened and concerned with your position. And I remember he said it's as though you're not in the country because...
Yes, I want to remind Stephen that even in 2008, the same thing happened where people came out to vote massively for their choice, and the whether the umpire or the politician thwarted it and all of that. But the man went to court with evidence here and there, and the result was upturned, and that was the former governor of Oshiomhole. And we've seen it also in Rivers State, where former governor Rotimi Amechi had won primary election, but some powerful politicians somehow substituted his name to Omeha, who was on the ballot box and contested the election and won. The man went to court and said, I should be the person on that ballot because I contested the primary, I won the primary, these are the results. And we have seen it in other cases. So if he says that, oh, he cannot work, I'm not going to follow the process or challenge the results, give them evidence. If this one say that, if A say that, B say that, C say that, we're still back to the square one. But if you truly desire the change, it's just making your little contribution. You might not even show your face. These are the results. This is what they call. It's recorded. I'm sure so many of them had phone when they are counting. I've covered the election in Edo State only yesterday in the last 4 or 5 elections. So please, Stephen, see someone the correct. That's the only contribution you can make. Now, don't say that because you are not that power. I'm sure the person you are trying to bring in, that you feel that he can take Edo to the next level, he has some kind of protection or voice. Say, you know, get voice. That one get voice. It's just your own contribution to make sure things are done. So don't lose hope. Like they said, judiciary is the what did they put it? That is for the common man, the hope of common man. Yeah. So if you feel that you're a common man, don't worry. Judiciary is there, you know, to be your hope.
All right, Adeni Ifetayo, thank you very much. But just before you go, under a minute or 30 seconds, let's look at this. Fresh tariff hike looms as monthly power subsidy hits 181 billion naira. Now, I don't know how many appliances you put off a day or how you try to manage power, but with this fresh tariff hike, what do you think might be the consequences on our economy in Nigeria?
Yeah, especially it's going to tax a lot of people. You know, even the little resources you have, you need to part with more. Regardless whether the appliances you have, there are some things that you must that you need to function, to make your home or your offices to run smoothly. So it's just government. What I will advise people should look at alternative of sources of energy. You know, on the long run. In the last 3 years, I've not even talked about whether band A or band B because I've been running on alternative energy. So people should also, you know, in this country, you'll be the one to generate your light, generate your water, or whatever it is, have your security. Those are the responsibility of government. Hey, I want to say, please, you need to look after yourself. If not, the little resources you are making, government might end up draining you from your hard-earned resources.
All right, that's a very fantastic place to land this morning. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Adeni Ifetayo. It's been a delight speaking with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday and do well to get enough rest.
Yes, thank you. I always do that.
All right. We just had a conversation with Adeniyi Fetayo. He is a media analyst, and it's important to note that he gave his perspectives and thoughts to so many of the stories, particularly the Edo gubernatorial poll. But to Stephen or any other person in Edo State or anywhere outside Edo State that would still like to contribute, we're going to be having an in-depth conversation on the Edo gubernatorial polls at 8:20 a.m. this morning on the Breakfast Cafe. So you want to stay tuned. We'll be dissecting it. You know, areas we could not touch on. Stephen mentioned electronic voting, but because of our time with Adeniyi Fetayo, we could not touch on it. How connecting these Edo State elections to forthcoming election, using this as like the connecting dot. How feasible is electronic voting? Is it that it cannot be manipulated as well? These are some of the areas we'll be looking at, you know, later on the show. But it's time for us to give you our views from the net, and we'll be doing that just right after this break. To stay with us.
Powerful and majestic, a mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real.
Foment. Foment. Foment.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Don't forget, we're also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at High Impact Studio. This is where you get to also call in. This is Views from the Net. We throw out a question earlier on and we get your opinions and, you know, sort of educate and inform ourselves. So you can also call in. The number will be displayed on your screen. So the question for today is quite simple and interesting. It is, what is the most fulfilling aspect of your job? Let me start by Sarah. Ladies first.
I don't understand why you always do this, but as a media person, top of my head, the most fulfilling part of my job is that I get to give you updates that you're not aware of. So I'll come off as the informant, and I get to educate you, you know, give you analysis and break it down to you. So the fact that I have to wake up every morning and I know that I have a role to play in impacting the knowledge that people have about what's going on in their area, it's actually fulfilling for me. I feel like I'm adding so much value, you know, in terms of knowledge the knowledge base of people. So I think that's actually very fulfilling for me, and it's one of the things that keeps me going on days where there are days where I don't feel like it, you know, but when I remember there are 1,000 people that are waiting to actually get update, to know what you have in store for them, it just spoils me.
Well, I think for me, talking about adding value, one of the ways it can be measured is when you get feedback. So for me, when we get calls, when we get opinions, people call in, send text messages, that is what gives me makes it fulfilling for me. Because now I realize that I'm not just talking to the air. People are actually listening and people want to talk. You know, so when we're discussing topics that's conversation and people call in to give their own views, even if it's opposing what we are saying, it is still welcome. For me, it's fulfilling. Right. So let's start off with this is Damola from Lagos. It says, as an educator, the most fulfilling aspect of my job is witnessing moments when students grasp a challenging concept. Now, it is incredibly rewarding to see their growth and development firsthand. Know that I have impacted a good seed and I can see it germinating in their lives. I think this is every teacher's dream, to see that,
when
yes.
Your student can grasp.
Yes,
Thanks.
and when you conduct an exam and I think the majority of them pass, it's actually fulfilling to know that, yes, I have impacted something.
Pass genuinely. Not by any form of malpractice. That's also something to note. But do not forget that you can be a part of the conversation. Do well to call us, let us know what's the most fulfilling aspect of your job. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Let's quickly take this next comment. This is Lekon from Ekpe, and Lekon has something very, very interesting to say. Lekon says, from a healthcare professional's viewpoint, the most fulfilling part of my job is making a positive impact on patients' lives. Providing care, comfort, and healing to those in need brings a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And I value the opportunity to help others in their times of vulnerability. Where is the lie? So I'm not a healthcare professional, but I can only imagine when you have a patient in your care on that you're looking out for, and you see that this patient is actually recovering. It's like a baby. You are in charge of that baby. You are nurturing the baby. One mistake can actually, your decision or the things you do can actually affect the patient positively or negatively. In fact, it might not be in terms of treatment. It might be in terms of words. You know, so I can only imagine how it feels when just take for example, you're treating, maybe you have a patient that has to undergo surgery. Yes. And the patient has done the surgery. The patient is healing fine. The wound is healing up very well. There's this glow that you have. Despite the fact that I'm not in that profession, you know, it's just amazing because I've been in spaces where the healthcare professional or the healthcare provider has imparted my healing process. You go to certain places and the way they are snapping at you and shouting at you, it even affects you more. But when there's so much love, intentionality, Lekon, I feel you. All
right, so this is Kemi from Abuja. It says, in the field of social work, the most fulfilling aspect is advocating for and empowering individuals and communities facing challenges. Being a catalyst for positive change and seeing the transformation and resilience in people is truly rewarding. I find fulfillment in supporting and uplifting those in need. Quite an inspirational message here from Kemi.
Right. But let's quickly take Dre from Yabatech. Dre says, for a scientist, the most fulfilling part of the job is the pursuit of knowledge and discovery, unraveling mysteries, conducting experiments, and contributing to scientific advancements bring a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. Appreciate the curiosity and exploration that science offers. I can't really relate because that's not really my field, but thank you, Dre. Thank you for your comment.
All right, still from Yabatech, this is Paul from Yabatech. As a creative artist, the most fulfilling aspect of the job is the ability to inspire emotions and provoke thoughts through art. Expressing oneself creatively and connecting with audiences on a deep level is incredibly gratifying. I value and appreciate the power of art to evoke feelings and spark imagination. This is Paul from Yabata. I think I can quite relate with that. You know, being able to express your artistic ideas and bringing it to life, and you know, seeing how amazing it is, it's quite fulfilling.
Yeah. Fun fact: as a side hustle, I'm a cook. Not a side hustle, but it's just, you know, something I do
Passion.
for fun, my passion. And one of the fulfilling parts of that, when I say I'm a cook, not that I cook for
Not that you're a chef.
events. No, I'm not. I don't do it as a profession or as I don't do it as a job. I don't do it for money or anything. I do it for loved ones.
Okay.
You know, just
You
my
can
thing
consider
in my
something.
circle. No, and one of the fulfilling parts is that when I see the satisfaction on their faces, when because I
Licking
I
their fingers.
I try out new things, and when I try out new things and I see that it actually went well, you know, there's this satisfaction, there's this glow that just comes from it. Maybe I should look into that aspect, but no. It's just something I do for really close family and, you know, loved ones. But let's take this next comment. Malomo from Aja. In the realm of entrepreneurship, the most fulfilling part is building something from the ground up and seeing it grow and succeed, overcoming challenges, taking risk, and creating value for customers bring a sense of achievement and fulfillment. I admire the innovation and determination that entrepreneurship entails, making plans and decisions that are valid and bring great benefits to the people around me. Very true. Thank you, Maloma. Just like planting a seed. And you see your seed germinating and it becomes very beautiful. Starts to bear fruit. That's how entrepreneurship is.
You know, another thing I would like to mention, which some people might not often mention, but it's actually true. One of the most fulfilling part of your job is also when you receive salary. Let's not lie. Let's put it out there. When you receive your salary and you know you've diligently done something for them and you receive that, there's this sort of pride that yes, fulfillment that yes, I've been paid for my hard work. Well, you might decide to go blow it all in 1 week or save it. It's left to you.
These days, it's not even about blowing. I saw a comment on social media, a post, where someone said, you'll not even spend lavishly. You just sort out basic needs and your salary has finished. So it's not even about blowing it. It's about the ability to sort basic needs, transportation, feeding, clothing, shelter, taking care of your family, you know, that alone.
That is itself is fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's a fulfilling part of the job.
Actually, that's actually another fulfilling part when you can actually cater to certain needs. You know, there's a level, imagine that there are needs and you're able to meet up with it, to meet up the expectation. There's a kind of fulfillment that comes from that.
All right, this is Bolaji from Yabatech. He says, from a humanitarian and workers' perspective, the most fulfilling aspect of the job is providing assistance to communities in crisis and witnessing the resilience and gratitude of those helped. Making a tangible difference in people's life during challenging times is deeply rewarding, and I find a purpose in serving and supporting vulnerable population. Bolaji from Yabatech is a humanitarian, a social worker, and he expresses gratitude in being able to help people. You know, it's quite interesting.
Right, let's quickly take Ramat from Surulere. And she says, as a conservationist, the most fulfilling part of the job is protecting and preserving the environment and wildlife for future generations, contributing to sustainability efforts, restoring ecosystems, and witnessing positive environmental outcomes bring a sense of fulfillment and commitment to conservation. I value the importance of safeguarding our planet's natural resources because I know what it can and will do for us. Ramat, the conservationist, thank you so much for your comment on the question.
And it's also refreshing and good to know that someone actually cares about the environment and nature, because these days people just want to destroy forest and build. Nobody's thinking about how to preserve all these things for future generations, just like Ramat said. Now, moving on, we have Remile Kunrada from Unilag. Now, Remilekun, rather, I beg your pardon, Remilekun from Unilag. Now, in the field of technology, the most fulfilling aspect is innovation and problem solving. Now, developing new solutions, improving efficiency, and shaping the future through technology advancement bring a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. I appreciate the transformative power of technology in driving progress and change. Yes, you cannot remove the fact that technology has done a whole lot. It has made the whole world global. I can stand for me, I can communicate with anybody, I can share my thoughts, and technology has actually brought everyone together, and it is being applied in various institutions, aspects of life. So technology is quite fulfilling.
Some aspects are yet to embrace. Technology is still doing things manually, just like we save documents of case files manually, and when it gets missing or it gets burnt, we don't have access to it again because it has been stolen.
I think that's
by unscrupulous elements. Even our electoral system, it can be better.
That's what
electronically, it can be done electronically, and taking advantage of the technology. Combating insecurity, technology is taking over. Linking, especially link our NIN, our BVN, our this and that. How exactly is it being used to track certain things? Just my thoughts there. But let's take John from Jos. John says, from a public service perspective, the most fulfilling aspect of the job is serving the community and making a positive impact on society. Upholding justice, promoting equality, and ensuring the well-being of citizens bring a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. And I cherish the opportunity to contribute to the greater good through public service. Thank you so much, John from Jos, for your contribution.
Now we have Josephine from Scotland. She says, my job helps me solve people's problem and resolve their complaints. It is terrible when I see bad customer service from an organization and they leave me blaming myself for patronizing the merchant. Now, as a result, I try to resolve people's complaints and ensure they get a resolution to their problems and leave with a smile on their faces after speaking to me. Being able to do this is the most fulfilling aspect of my job, and as a customer service manager, Josephine from Scotland. Now, I quite can relate to this because I've also worked in the customer care service, and it is quite a relief when someone comes angrily to meet you and you're able to, and that person leaves with a smile. There's nothing as fulfilling as that. Very true. When you're able to offer a solution to the problem, resolve whatever issue they came with, and make them feel, when you're able to make them, they don't have to regret for patronizing you or for making use of your service. That's it's when you meet a customer service or a front desk officer that has these traits, you sure know that you're going to be in for a good day. But there are some that they can frustrate you. You would even regret going there in the first place. But let's take this last comment from our own Queen from Great Yaba Tech. Queen says, providing mental health resources and support, breaking stigmas surrounding mental health, and empowering individuals to heal is crucial. Witnessing recovery and growth inspires me. It brings me joy to see that people are free from pain and suffering, especially when they're young. Thank you for your comments, Queen. Well, I think this is all we have right now coming from Views from the Net. Stick around, we still have a whole lot more coming on the Breakfast Faculty. We'll be right back.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
I should be giving one right now. Fill it again and give it to me, please. If not, something is funny. I'll give you my own.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to go straight to the announcement of the results and subsequent declaration of the winner. And so I start. I, Professor Farouk Adamukuta, hereby certify that I am the returning officer for the 2024 Edo State Governorship election held on the 21st of September 2024. That the election was contested. The candidate received the following votes. Party AA, 222 votes. P 1,034 votes. Party NRM 720 votes. Party PDP 247,274 votes. Bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Edo State. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. This is where we get to discuss a topical issue. But the video you just watched was actually the declaration of the Edo State governorship election, whereby the APC candidate, that's Monday Okpebholo, was declared the winner. But a brief story about what happened. Now, the Edo State governorship election held on September 21st, 2024, saw 17 political parties participate with a voter turnout estimated to be between 21 and 24%. Now, the election featured notable candidates including Asue Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Monday Okpebholo of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party. Now, the election was generally considered peaceful, despite reports of irregularities and concerns over the transparency of results collation. Now, the outcome of the election has significant implications for the future of Edo State and Nigeria's democratic trajectory. Now, joining us this morning is Shiji Adebiyi Bennett. He is a social commentator. Good morning, and it's glad to have you here.
Are you there, Shijibome Bennett?
Are you there?
All right.
All right. So while we try and get him on, earlier on we had a call, Stephen from Benin, who expressed great dissatisfaction about what happened, and he even going on to say he was not going to participate in all that. But what I would also like him to understand again is, in every court, evidence is what is actually used to win any case. So the fact that he was there, number one, I don't know whether he took videos, pictures of the result. That is another strong evidence. Yes, I know you are laughing. I know where you are going.
I'm not laughing because
I know where you're going.
I'm just a bit concerned going by the precedent and the history of cases like this. Fine, I didn't know if I was able to mention a couple, maybe two cases. One was in 2008, the other one, I'm trying to remember the year.
Amici, the one of Amici.
But if we move fast forward to a couple years now, how many of those cases have we seen actually holding water? What is the hope of the common man at the end of the day? How admissible would the evidence be from a voter? How do they classify it? Would their voices even be heard based on what we've seen happen time and again in the electioneering period? Wouldn't this be one of the cases where, like Stephen said, they go to court, it's being contested for how many years?
4 years.
He's sworn in, he's put in as the governor, while they are still contested. Before you know, he has done 3.5 years. So what is how does that even work? So I'm not saying Stephen cannot take his evidence or any other person that had evidence, but how admissible would this be? And would this change anything based on our history?
It should change, and we should also try as possible to be positive in everything we do. Evidence is the reason why we figured out that there was overvoting. If there were no evidence, we wouldn't have figured that out. Evidence is how we figured out there was vote buying, because we are seeing it. So evidence, whether we like it or not, that evidence, it's still important in everything, because that's the only way you can say this is a lie and this is true. But let's have Shiji Adebiyi Bennett. Good morning, and it's glad to have you here.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning to the viewers.
Good morning. Just before you came on, we're talking about the major focus this morning is the Edo gubernatorial polls, and we will connect this to electioneering generally. But let's get your perspective. As a sound social commentator, how would you rate the Edo governorship polls, and how would you rate INEC's performance? How would you rate everything surrounding the polls? And did the final outcome surprise you, or did it meet your expectations?
Okay, let me first correct an impression. While you were talking in the studio, there is no way anybody that rigs an election in Nigeria can spend more than 1 year as a governor. The person cannot even spend a year the maximum you can spend in office is 9 months. Former President Goodluck Jonathan signed ACJA Act, which facilitates and kinds of speeds up election petition so that within 9 months everything will be dispensed with. So gone are the days when we have like former Governor Ilola or former Governor, late Governor Agagu spend almost 3 or 3.5 years before they were removed. So that's not possible anymore. For the Edo election, it didn't come as a surprise. Every let me say meticulous and informed observer will know that it will be difficult for the governor to get his person into office. Why do I say so? We have found time and time again that ego is the problem of today's politicians. And we have found time and time again that opposition parties don't win elections. The ruling parties in states or at the federal level just gift them those victories on a platter of gold. It happened in 2015. Former President Goodluck Jonathan, 5 PDP governors joined the APC. The PDP was fragmented. In 2023, the Obedience believed they won the election. But how do you fathom a situation whereby Kwankwaso from PDP got 1 million in Kano, Peter Obi got over 6 million, cleared the whole of the southeast, which was traditionally a PDP enclave. So when you had those votes together, you see that PDP, if they were united, would have won that election easily, based on arithmetic, because there could be so many other factors, even if they were together. Now, on the issue of Edo, Obaseki left the APC, got into the PDP, fought with the PDP original owners, the legacy people, allegedly is fighting with the Oba of Benin, and APC was able to win Oredo local government, which came as a surprise. That is his own local government, the governor's local government. Fought with even people that came to PDP with him from APC, like Shaibu, the deputy governor, and Ojeswa, the chairman of APC, that left APC and moved to PDP with Obaseki. So when you look at all these things, it won't come as a surprise. It's just like gifting the victory to APC. People can talk about different rigging. Politicians are like that. Rigging is it's unfortunate, but it's part of our electioneering for now, because every party rigs where they are popular. Every party was bribing where they were popular. It's only where you are not popular that people will frown that don't come and give people money here. But it will be it will be hypocritical for anybody to say it was only one party that bribed in Edo. With all sense of responsibility, I can confirm to you that PDP and APC bribed. The only people that you can say did not bribe in that election is the Labour Party. Is
this based off the numbers that we have rolling out? Is this statistics or this claim you just gave, is it based on the fact that the Labour Party, out of those 3 political parties, had the lowest numbers, or on what ground would you make this claim?
Because Labour Party has a slogan that they don't even give shishi. Then when you look at when out now on ground, but from observers on ground, when you look at the trend, you will see that and people confirmed that Labour did not really because we still have overzealous people that want to win their polling booth, at least to justify that, okay, I'm in Labour Party, I want my polling booth. But on a general scale, on a a party manifestorial scale, if I want to put it like this, because people contribute money, parties contribute money for vote buying. In Nigeria, we have to face the fact, but you won't see that Labour is it even the Labour Party that is having problems within themselves. Where did they even get the money to give to Apata? So it's these things are just very obvious. We see it every day. We know it. We don't want to talk about it because people will say, where is your evidence? But people were arrested. You saw it. Party agents were arrested. So nobody will say, where is my evidence?
Okay.
Party agents were arrested.
Shiji Bennett, I would like to take you to a live report, if I could use that word. Someone called us this morning, Stephen from Benin City in Edo State, and he gave his experience and what he encountered during the election. Now, according to him, in his ward, when the whole process was going on and afterwards, when the counting occurred, the People's Democratic Party won that ward, and when it would be announced later, it was announced that the All Progressives Congress had the highest numbers. Now, he also stated that he was offered money, you know, but he turned it down. And one disturbing thing he said at the end of his call was that was going to be the last time he would actually go out to vote, because the mandate of the people was upturned with the election results. Coming from somebody that witnessed this physically, and he put all of this on the Independent National Electoral Commission, saying that INEC is the major problem we're having. I would like to get your perspective to this, connecting it to voter apathy, using that one case as as an example.
I want to appeal to the person not to lose hope. When I was really partisan, I stopped being partisan a long time ago. I stopped being, when I mean partisan, I stopped being a member of any political party. That was in the year 2003. But these things happen. We saw it. I experienced it. So I can talk from a place of experience.
Okay.
And since that time, I just got into what we call political education, not affiliating myself with any political party again. I support political parties when it's time for election, but after the election, I face governance, criticize the government, and do what I'm supposed to do. But I will appeal to him that he should stick to it's a journey, it's a marathon. We're not going to get it right once, and that it happened does not mean that he should be discouraged. I will just appeal to him on that. But at the same time, I will want him to also put that into petition with all the evidences he has and send it to the appropriate quarters. It's very, very important.
What are the appropriate quarters?
The petition tribunal is, if he's a member of APC and he taught PDP, okay, he's a member of PDP or he's working for PDP.
He did not state that he's a member of any political party. He did not state.
Okay, it's just okay. If that's the case, then he can just give the evidence he has to the PDP agent in his ward or in his local government or in his polling booth, so that they can have and I know PDP will be doing that just to push all those evidences to the fore. But there was something that the way you reported it, there is something that I find very puzzling there. It's like a puzzle to me. How was he sure that the word was won? Because I can tell you that if I'm in a polling booth, I will tell you if a party won my polling booth, but I won't know who won the next polling booth. So a word, it can be a combination of a few polling booths, if you get what I mean. So that's very, very important in the scheme of things. So was it going around in all the wards to know all? Because if it's not, that's because I thought it was a PDP party member, because if he's not party member, he will just know about its polling booth alone, not other polling booth. But I won't question its claim, but issue, if he has evidence, he should just forward it to the appropriate quarters, and INEC will deal with it. Because even when the justice system does not give justice, people will know if misdemeanor has been done, and the next time they will do everything to prevent that thing from happening. But I can tell you, from before the election, everybody knew it would be difficult for the PDP to win that election. Everybody, anybody that is neutral, that just wants to, any observer that's going to predict or analyze word by word. We always knew, no matter I know things could have been inflated, but we always knew where it was going to go to. Everybody knows that I do not we going to go to APC. That's Oshomole's enclave. Then you always knew that Edo Central is where the two leading candidates come from. So they were going to share it. So I think they have like 5 local governments there. One won 2, the other one won 3. The battleground was now Edo South, which is the Benin environment. Oredo is a very populated local government there. I've been there so many times. Edo is like a second home to me. So, and Oredo, for APC to win Oredo, the local government of the governor so the governor opened his eyes and they cheated him out of that local government. It says a lot. So it's not just malpractices happen in election, but when you look at everything happening base by base, word by word, local government by local government, you will know that there is tendency for the other party, even though if they had inflated figures, but there was tendency for them to win that election. Because if you had 20,000, it will be difficult for you to inflate it to 200,000. Even if you have 50,000 to make it 200,000 will be difficult. But you can only rig when you have a slight chance of winning. Why didn't they rig at the last election? So this must not be emotive about it. We must not be emotional about it. This is politics. It is permutation. So when the Danobi, who is still the national vice chairman of PDP in the South region, is not supporting his party, and he's making it obvious. He was assigned part of the campaign committee. He publicly rejected it. The deputy governor is not with him. All the legacy party are not with him. At the mega rally, the person who is supposed to be the gubernatorial candidate for PDP, who stepped down for Obaseki 4 years ago, Ogbede Iyama, come to APC. He had never done that before. So you have a lot of the Aneni factor, which is still a big factor in Edo politics, going to APC. You had the legacy group going to APC. You had the APC in one bunch, and you had the PDP in splinters. So imagine if Obaseki was able to manage PDP. He would have won this election hands down. He would have won by a landslide. But the problem was Obaseki himself. So we can always trace all these blames to different people, different quarters, rigging and all that. But the problem remains the governor. He should look himself in the mirror. You cannot be in a party, have problem, go to another party, have problem. Then that means the problem is with the person. You're having issues with the Oba of Benin, and it's been ongoing for over a year.
Right.
And as of last year, the Oba was alleged to be. It was alleged that he was planning to remove the Oba. You should be able, as a governor, as a leader, to manage all these things and make sure your party wins an election, especially when you want to transfer the legacy or build the legacy for someone else.
Adebi, if I may come in, I will have very few minutes to go. So in less than a minute, I have just 1 or 2 questions for you. Now, the first question is, what are the implications, or what implication does this election outcome have on Nigeria's democracy and future elections? Let's say the Ondo election, which is coming up November. What are the implications for this present election, and what implications will it have on the coming elections?
There is a positive and a negative implication for me, there is a positive and there is a negative implication. The positive implication is our election is evolving into a situation whereby we don't have killings. In this election, apart from the policeman that was killed during the campaigns, when the reinstated deputy governor wanted to get into Edo, there was not a single life that was lost. So that's good news. The former president said that his ambition is not worth the blood of anybody. So that's a positive, and I want that to reverberate around the country. We expect that in Ondo as well. Another negative implication for me is that politicians are now finding a way not to employ or deploy violence, but vote buying to win elections. So instead of violence, instead of killings, now it's to amass a lot of money and bribe the voters. And the voters as well these days, no matter what is happening, no matter what anybody does,
I'm sorry, but we have exhausted our time and we really have to go. Thank you very much. You have been brilliant, but we have to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah, quite a lot he said there about the elections, and I wanted to ask him the trending phrase now, is it an election or a selection? But he has expressed a lot. He said something, I wanted to ask him whether it was an improvement. He said now politicians are finding a way to remove violence. So I wanted to even ask him that, is that an improvement, or because he said also that they are now concentrating on vote buying and removing violence and all that. So would you say that's an improvement?
I think we should hear that from a professional in that field and get more insight on that. Would have, really, we're going to talk about the electronic system of voting, but unfortunately we had really run out of time and we just had to wrap up the conversation. But that's it on that segment. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Find your limits. Go karting. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real. Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet. Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas, and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink, or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real.
Welcome back. And just before we go, it's just important to, it's as though the mood of or the spirit of Nigerians, a couple of Nigerians towards elections and voting has been dampened. But to emphasize what Adeniyi Fetayo said and Chijibomi Bennett have also said, it's not time for us to lose hope. If everyone starts to lose hope, we probably will never get the change that we are, seeking. I know that sometimes it comes as though your efforts are not seen. You go out, make all the sacrifices, go through the process, risk your life, in quotes, the periods where we've seen cases of violence, just to go to the polls and cast your vote. And at the end of the day, it's as though the result do not reflect the mandate of the people or the choice of the people. We do not relent, we do not get tired, we do not lose hope. We keep doing our best till we get that desired result that we're clamoring for.
Definitely, and I know sometimes we always try to use other countries to compare with our own system, but we also have to understand that these countries also fought for their own democracy. I mean, people like to make example of United States of America. That country has existed for over 200 years, and we are just how many years, or 64 or thereabout. So we also have to understand that we are a very peculiar people. I remember former President Olusegun Obasanjo said that we need to fine-tune our democracy to be some sort of Afro-democracy. We need to fine-tune it because we are a very peculiar people. We should not keep borrowing things from other countries and impose it on ourselves. We need to carve it out for our own selves and see how it can actually work for ourselves. But it's still democracy. It's the government of the people, by the people and for the people. So we will also continue to call for what is right. We'll continue to have that positive mind. But let's quickly take the weather forecast now, and of course we'll be right back. You just saw this brings it to an end, but I do hope that you have been informed, you have been educated, and of course you have been entertained on the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. A big shout out to all our producers, directors, audio technical crew, and everyone that has taken part in make sure that this show is a success. But a bigger thanks is to you listening and watching from wherever you are on your mobile device and your television set. So let's do this again tomorrow. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember to follow us across all of our social media platforms at High Impact Studios, High Impact TV, and The Breakfast Cafe _. As we're gearing up to celebrate our dear country, you want to watch this space. We have something very exciting coming up, and you love it. So fingers crossed. I am Sarah Owusu-Ansah. Until I grace your screens next time, do have yourself a fantastic Monday. Bye-bye.